Hi everybody, Brian from Bearable Traders here. It is the weekend, April 6th, and this, of course, the weekend video. We'll take a look at what happened last week in the markets, and then we'll take a look at what we got coming up this week, CPI, PPI data, to name a few. And of course, we're starting out earnings season at the end of the week here, so lots going on. Plus, talk about what's going on. We've got a big meetup in Vancouver starting tomorrow, Sunday noon. And we've got members coming from literally all over the world. Our moderators coming from Dubai, from South America, and lots of traders traveling from all over North America to be here to our meetup. It's going to be a great event and looking forward to it. So, and as far as this video goes, I've got a little bit of an extra thing going on. I've got went over a day trade that I did using options, 0 DTEs on Friday. So you can watch for that in this video as well. So let's get down to it. All right, let's start out by taking a look what happened last week, April 1st. Thursday we had comments by Neil Kashkari. The market was just chugging along just fine, and then he came out and said he didn't think there were going to be any rate cuts in 2024, and the market reacted immediately to that and selling off pretty hard. And then Friday came along. We were waiting for those jobs numbers to come out. Everybody was expecting 205. Wow, we got 300. Just blew that number right out of the water. Wage growth of 0.35. So everything came out way stronger. So you would have thought the market would have sold off even more. But much to everybody's surprise, the market actually rallied on Friday on those numbers. I guess strong economic, strong labor. I guess just figured that was good news for a change. So all the indexes, regardless, finished down on the week. Dow, worst week in 2024. Qs and SPY down a little bit, and the rate-sensitive IWM, the small caps, took the biggest hit there on the week. Energy, the biggest gainer on the week in terms of sectors. It certainly is benefiting, or it's going up because of the conflicts in the Middle East and the geopolitical concerns there. Communication services are also up on the week. Meta had a really great week this week if you were following Meta. Healthcare and real estate, they were the biggest losing sectors, but there were a lot more, could have named a lot more there. They were all sort of in the 3% range. The 2-year and the 10-year treasuries both up, both sort of flirting with highs in their trading ranges. So that's a sign that maybe rates are going to stay higher for longer. The dollar, I'm surprised, wasn't up a little bit more. It was pretty much flat on the week, down fractionally. And Bitcoin down a little bit this week, 68,000 versus the almost 71,000 we were at the previous week. But Bitcoin's been very volatile, so that could be anywhere on Monday morning. So that was the week in review. Okay, so before we go on here, I always like to do a quick plug for my books that are available on Amazon. You can see them there, Profiting as an Active Trader, How to Swing Trade, my oldest book, and my latest book, How to Trade Options. And you'll notice I do talk a lot about options trades in the room here or on the video as well. So if you want to check those books out, they are available for sale. So let's get down and look at some charts here. Okay, starting out with the review of last week's price action in the markets, indexes. We always start out with the treasuries. And you can see here we're starting to inch up. 2-year kind of coming up to a level that we've been sort of consolidating in for quite some time, this 4.7 level. Looking like momentum starting to build to the upside as the chances of a rate hike don't look as promising, or a rate decrease, I should say. Same with the 10-year, this 4.3, 4.4 level. We're right at 4.4 now. This 4.3 level, which was resistance here and here, till we broke out at that level. Again, we're looking like we're threatening to breaking out, and you can see momentum starting to build on the RSI as well to the upside. Transports, kind of a choppy week, big sell-off Thursday, came back Friday. Sort of going to be the story of all these indexes here. But overall, we're kind of just in a range here on the transports. And as far as the Dow goes, we've had big sell-off Thursday, come back Friday. A little bit managed to recapture this 50 moving average, but definitely kind of topped out here, double top, and now we're kind of trading in a range, and this is kind of a pretty critical area of support because this was resistance, and then when we broke out, it became support, and now we're right back at that level again here on the daily. On the weekly, still above the 20 moving average, but momentum really coming out of the Dow for sure. The Qs, sort of same comments, big sell-off Thursday, come back Friday. But again, we are really chopping in a range here as we've had this big run up, and now we're just consolidating these gains and waiting for earnings to see if they can justify a move higher, or at least at the very least continuation in the valuations of where they are right now. Again, the Qs on a weekly just sort of chopping along here, consolidating for a number of weeks now. Same with the SPY. I don't want to keep repeating what I'm saying, but again, the SPY is still in an uptrend. Momentum is coming out of it. Bit of volume on the week, and so again, sort of in a consolidation phase, waiting for earnings probably. The IWM, which is the most sensitive to interest rates, again, tried to break out, really pulled back here. This sort of 202 level, 200 level is pretty important for support. We're still holding that, so we'll see what that comes next week for the IWM as we get into earnings. Big spike in VIX on the Thursday, and then this little bit of a pullback here on Friday. But VIX is starting to break out here. This level here, and then people are getting a little bit more nervous about the prospects of potential rate cuts, so that's kind of causing some heartburn for some people, I guess, and the price of options are starting to go up. The dollar kind of flat on the week, didn't really move much at all, tried to break out, couldn't. This level here obviously is resistance, and it's probably going to flirt around with that level for a while. Finally, Bitcoin, we're at 68,200 right now. Can be pretty volatile, but it's looks like it might be getting ready to break out here as we keep making higher lows. Every pullback is a higher level, find support. So we'll see what Bitcoin does there. And that's about it for the markets. So in terms of positions that I've got on right now, let's start out by taking a look at some of them here. There's Amazon. Last week, as I mentioned, it was looking like it was getting ready to break out. It did actually break out on of this level at 180 on, I guess it was Wednesday. And I love the pullback. It really didn't pull back as hard as some of the other stocks did on Thursday, which showed you there were a lot of sellers regardless of what the market was doing. And then Friday, we had that nice move higher as well. So long Amazon and staying long for the time being. It certainly looks like it wants to continue to push higher here. Boeing, I've still got these 260 calls. I keep talking about maybe rolling them down to 245s. I'm short them, which means I'm hoping that by August the price won't get back up that level. I think it's highly unlikely, and it's already they're already about a 20% of what I sold them for. So like I said, I could roll them down here to 240, which is a gap fill here, which again I don't think will get there by August. But I can buy my existing position and roll them down essentially. Gold, I'm mentioning gold. Gold just broke out here, and I'm long gold. I was long gold back here. I kind of sold it when it started to get choppy in here, but again, this breakout and just got me long again. Google, I'm long Google. I kind of like Alphabet. It's had a bit of a big sell-off on Thursday, but it came back on Friday, so still holding that position. Meta, I mentioned this. I'm long, and I was really watching this level here, hoping it would hold because I didn't want to get stopped out of the position. But it just barely held, and now we had a rocking week there with Meta, and it really just broke out. So still holding Meta as it breaks out to a high there. MIDU, I'm still long MIDU. I'm long from back here. We had a bit of a rough week last week. And I might actually look at lightening up on that position on Monday, given the situation with with it seems like the chance of a rate hike is sort of diminishing, or a rate cut, I should say. Nvidia, I'm still long Nvidia. It's kind of chopping in this range. I still think it's going to stay there. It's more of a long, sort of looking at it from a long-term perspective. And that's some of the current positions that I am in right now. Okay, so what I'm watching next week, it's going to be a bit of a short list because I've got a lot of other stuff going on this weekend. Haven't had a lot of time to do some research. But again, as I mentioned earlier, with these 260 calls, maybe just covering them and then maybe selling some 245s or even some 235s next week, just rolling those options down. Again, we could sell some 180 puts. This is an area where it's Boeing has found support. So unlikely to drop down that level, but it's certainly rolling over again. Dell, I was noticing last week, I actually picked up a few shares, but I'm looking to add to the position next week. So Dell, really good report out. I think somebody was buying their equipment, saying their AI server sales are really strong, and this is another AI play, and it's definitely breaking out here. Here's your level that it broke out from, and looks like it wants to continue higher. Momentum looking good here. So I'm looking to add to that position maybe next week. Ethereum, again, I'm just kind of keeping an eye on this right now. It's not really doing very much, but again, I think maybe once we start to talk about this more ETFs coming on this stock, maybe in May or June, we might start to get a move back up to 20 there. So I'm watching that every day to see if we start to get a move, because I think it'll be a multi-day move. MU 130 looks like the top here. We had that comeback day Friday, really didn't respond that well. So I think maybe could be a top in here on MU, temporary top, temporary bottom around 110. So potential to sell puts or calls. And Target again, sort of 180 was the high. I was thinking about selling some calls here. I didn't do it, but we'll take a look at it again next week on Target. And that's about it for all I've been able to put together here. And but I think there's definitely going to be some opportunities next week as well. All right, so I don't usually do this, but I'm going to talk about a day trade I did on Friday using options. And a lot of this is covered in my options trading book, How to Trade Options, if you want to check that out. But just to tell you what I did on NVIDIA on Friday, I actually made some pretty good money on trading options on it on Friday. And it's a little bit of a unique approach. So this was the open. This is a 5-minute chart. So we're looking at 5 minutes here. So you can see here it opened, came down to about 860 and found a bottom here. That was yesterday's or Thursday's low, I guess. And then it started to move up, and then it pulled back again, and we made a higher low. So once it started to move up and started to break out from this prior high, and I shorted the 960 puts. Now, shorting puts and calls is pretty risky, especially with a stock that can move like NVIDIA. But I was shorting the Friday puts or the weekly puts, and this is on Friday. So you have to realize that these are essentially zero DTEs, they call them, or zero date to expiry. So they are expiring at the end of the day here. So it's easy for me to control the risk because I can put in a stop. If the price of the option starts to rise, say above 20 or 30% of where I entered, I'm out. And so I can control my risk. I'm not having any overnight risk. And so NVIDIA continued to go up, continued to move away from this 960. I just moved my stop once during the day to make sure. And then I was well in the money at that point on those. And I got a pretty decent premium on them. I think I got like 80 or 90 cents for them. So I was willing to risk like $1.10. And then when it got up here, I could see it consolidating, and I sold the 895 calls way up here, and I still got over $1 for them. I think it was like $1.50. at that point. And again, same thing. It's dangerous shorting unless you can control your risk, and you control your risk by putting in a stop. So as the day went on, it started to sell off, and these things started to go more and more down in value. And of course, I'm short, so that's what I'm wanting to see. And I just let them expire worthless. I let these expire worthless, the 860s down here. And made money on the stock, basically staying in the range between the option trades. So I love doing these on Friday. You can only do these on Friday on stocks because Friday is the only day zero DTE days on the weeklies. So you can do this on the index, and I do these on SPY Qs and primarily SPYs and Qs. I do those on the indexes almost every day, because you can, because those have daily option trades. So, but you can only do these zero DTE trades on the stocks on Fridays. So they've been working out quite well for me. I was doing them on Netflix. I do them on NVIDIA. And as long as you sort of catch the trend correctly, and the prices of the options that you've sold start to go down right away, you can just follow them down with stops. So that's one of the trade strategies I'm using, day trade strategies I'm using with options. And again, you can check that out in my auction book. All right, so let's wrap things up here. April 8th, what have we got to look forward to? There's your levels in terms of the Dow, Q, SPY, and IWM for the week coming up. And in terms of economic events, we really don't have much on Monday and Tuesday. We do have this big CPI data that everybody will be looking at to see how inflation fight is going. And we'll get the FOMC minutes on at 2 o'clock. Then Thursday, we get PPI data as well. And so that'll be Wednesday and Thursday will be some important data coming out. In terms of earnings, well, we got earnings. We just finished earnings season, and we're just going to kick off another earnings season here coming out on Friday. We've got what we usually see, the first of the financials, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, Citi, BlackRock, and Delta on Wednesday. Albertsons on Tuesday, and a few of the other ones on Thursday. So kicking earnings season off again this week. Anyway, that's it, everybody. I hope you're having a great weekend. We are going to be hosting a whole bunch of people downtown Vancouver at our meetup, as I already mentioned. We will be trading the markets open, and there will be a pre-market show starting at 8 o'clock on Monday morning. And then we will be trading live from our meetup on Monday morning at 9:30 for our members and all the people that are joining us here in Vancouver that have traveled far and wide. So hope you're one of the ones that are here. And if you're not, well, maybe next time. So take care, everybody, and we will see you all on Monday morning. Bye for now.